Well, you're listening to the Fatboy Show on RX Radio, and it looks like tough times are here for married couples, and especially married women who are married to men that earn less. Because upon divorce, you might be forced to fork out big money. Just ask Halle Berry and Britney Spears, who had a terrible week last week after it was revealed that Halle Berry had to now pay $8,000 per month to her ex-husband, Oliver Martinez. What do you think about that, Olive? $8,000 per month in child support. Plus, she is supposed to pay 4.3% of any income she receives over $2 million. She has to pay this to this man also. And they weren't even married for that long.
They weren't. They met in 2010 and got married later on and split in 2015. They also share a son who is now 9 years old. So this man, you see, some of these guys marry these super rich celebrities for a reason. They marry...
Love. What else?
No, come on.
I mean, isn't that why women marry super rich dudes? Also love?
No.
We can flip this around.
We can flip this around. So for some of these guys, and actually I think there was a prenup agreement, because if there wasn't, I think Halle Berry would be parting with much more than $8,000 a month. You remember what happened to Dr. Dre?
Yeah, I remember that. The prenup just got whoosh.
There was no prenup.
Oh wait, there was one, and then she claimed that she signed it under duress, while under duress. And
well,
so she was seeking to void it, and I don't know if they did, but he had to pay a substantial amount of money.
No, he is paying her $300,000 every month for the rest of her life.
Oh really?
Yes, that was the last divorce ruling.
$300,000 per month.
$300,000 had the US dollars on it before people think it's Uganda shillings.
So then this isn't much for Halle Berry.
This is not much. So I think she had a good an ironclad prenup. Otherwise, she would be parting with a lot. $8,000 is a drop in the bucket for her. She can afford this. And you see, if we speaking of empowerment and emancipation, yes, because most times when the man earns more, it is usually the man that pays more. Now she earns more.
So she must pay more.
And she must, as in, we cannot say that we are all for emancipation until when we have to part with our money.
Well, let us look at Britney Spears, who also had a rough week. Because as you know, her and her husband are parting ways. He filed for divorce for reasons which aren't so much of a mystery. I mean, when I would see her videos on Instagram where she's just acting weird, I'm like, how long is this marriage gonna last? For how long can a man tolerate his wife acting so bizarre? And so when it was announced that he was filing for divorce, I wasn't surprised. Well, Britney Spears has to pay him $10,000 a month for the apartment that he's going to be renting during the time that they are trying to finalize their divorce. So for the duration of that process, she must fork out $10,000 per month for his apartment in LA. And oh my gosh, of course she's a rich woman, and probably she can afford it. But man, I look at stories like this one and the Halle Berry one, and even as a man, while a part of me is like, yeah, boy child, we're winning, we're also now getting our money, a part of me is like, come on man, you're a man. Is this what a man is supposed to do? Is this what a man should a man be taking money from women like this? I mean, where's the shame? Where's your pride? Where's your ego?
When you look at, for instance, the case of Britney Spears and her now soon-to-be ex-husband, they'd been together even when she was fighting that conservatorship. And I remember one of the reasons she gave when she had that, breakdown in court, she said the family was stopping her from marrying her boyfriend. I think this guy was low-key pushing for the conservatorship to be removed so that he could marry her and stay with her for a short while, then divorce her and get a settlement.
That is a very good point. And you know what? For all of the hate that Britney Spears' father received for, trying to maintain the conservatorship, I think a lot of people now in retrospect are looking at that and saying, actually, he was really trying to help this girl.
No, he didn't try to help. The conservatorship is the reason why that girl is the way she is. He broke her.
No.
He broke her.
Excuse me. Listen. the conservatorship came later on in her life. It wasn't there from the beginning.
It was there.
Not from the beginning.
What do you call the beginning? It came in at a time when she was selling like hot cake.
But also at a time where she was starting to mentally break. I remember the time when she infamously shaved her head. She was just going through some sort of breakdown, and she enters a salon, and then she shaves her head bald, and everyone said, "What's wrong with this chick?" And I think obviously that's what we saw. We don't know what else was going on in her life that we didn't see. We were not privy to. The father looked at the situation and said, "You know what? I need to intervene now and help this child."
Okay, maybe the first intentions were good, but in the long run, the father was using the opportunity because he was feeding off her. He was feeding off her money.
Wasn't he her manager or something?
He was her manager at some point, but he was taking from her. It's like defending that family in the blind side who sold to us a lie that they had adopted this black guy. Kumbe, it was a conservatorship, and they were taking money from him for all these years. Even the film project, they took the money. You know, the blind side.
That's what he's claiming, but I don't know if it's been proven.
No, the case is in court because actually he said he just found out that he was not legally adopted by these people. Of course, there is more for us to find out. But what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, the people that are in charge of the conservatorship are usually the people gaining much more than the person that is doing the work.
Okay, well, for the case of the blindside situation, we'll see what the courts decide. But in the case of Britney Spears, okay, well, now that the conservatorship was lifted and now that the husband filed for divorce, she's obviously quite exposed to a lot of liability. Now, as it turns out, I have heard that nonetheless, there was a prenup.
Yes, there was.
And hopefully it will shield her from as much damage as possible.
Some people, I've seen comments from people saying that it was a good one. Probably that's why he's airtight. Obviously,
but he's also trying to give. He's also trying to have it voided, isn't he?
Of course he will try, but he's just a parasite, seriously. Because Fatboy, if you married a woman that is richer than you are and you break up with her shortly after the wedding, it's gonna be very hard for you to convince me. Just like a woman who married a rich man and is divorcing that rich man shortly after, it's gonna be hard for you to convince me that you were there for love. No. Mm-mm.
Well, I wish to bring to you the rather awkward case of Janet Jackson. Now that you mention it. So there's a post that has been going around on social media. I don't know if you've seen it, but essentially someone did a computational breakdown of how she was seeking to financially benefit from the whole marriage situation that she had with this he was like a Qatari billionaire.
I need me a Qatari billionaire.
So I'm
for
just
5 years.
Here it is. Found it. So yeah, so the post says Janet Jackson married a Qatari billionaire in 2012, and there were two clauses in the prenuptial agreement. Number one, that she would get $100 million if the marriage lasted at least 5 years. Wow, isn't that a sweet deal? She would get $100 million if she gave the tycoon an heir also. Number two. In 2016, at age 49, she got pregnant, gave birth, gave him an heir. And in 2017, the year they completed 5 years of marriage, the same year, she filed for divorce.
I remember very well the minute the anniversary of 5 years was like, ta-da!
Boom!
Boom! I'm like, girlfriend, it was a business deal. He wanted an heir, right?
Wait a minute.
He got one.
But come on, if we are going to chastise these men that are cleaning out Britney
but you had me. I said you can't tell me that you married for love. If you marry this person and you're leaving them shortly after the wedding, or in Janet Jackson's case, shortly after the agreements. But why are we chastising her anyway? There was an agreement. There was a clause. Give me an heir.
Anyway,
an heir.
Yeah.
At a very old age, by the way. Those are high-risk pregnancies.
That's true. And so maybe it won't be fair to knock her hustle. I mean, the guy agreed to these terms.
Yeah. Give me an heir. I'll give you $100 million.
But why couldn't she stay for like 8 years at least? Because to leave at 5 years on the dot, it just makes it seem so callous and calculated.
If there was a clause of should you continue and stay for 8 years, now you get 200 million, I'm sure I should have stayed. I would stay.
Anyway, to me, it just seems super weird. I mean, whatever happened to love? Aren't people supposed to love?
Love is for the poor. The rich are in business.
Oh my goodness.
Let me tell you something. Today, some ladies, after being hurt and disappointed by different men, some of them go into relationships with a business mindset. She's like, I'll go there 5 years, maybe give him a child so that he buys me land, buys me a house, deeds everything into my names. And then after 5 years, I'm out.
So are you saying that because that's what you've heard people say, or are you saying that because that's how you think?
I'm saying that because it doesn't hurt to look out for yourself.
Men, we are doomed. These ladies are out to get us. Stay safe and be careful, and keep listening to the Fatboy Show on RX Radio.